Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ingrid's World. So I'm back with a new show highlighting a person who's making a difference in people's lives. Joyce Williams is owner and managing attorney of Armooh-Williams PLLC. She focuses her practice on international trade, business, and immigration law. Through the African Bar Association and the American Bar Association, she provides technical assistance to lawyers and governments across the world. So we have this great opportunity to talk to attorney Joyce Williams. Welcome to the show, Joyce.
Thank you, Ingrid.
Well, I really, I'm fascinated to have you. I met you at an event and was just thrilled to start a conversation with you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Joyce Williams. I'm originally from Ghana, and I had the incredible opportunity to come to the United States in 2003 through the diversity lottery. And when I came in 2003 to the United States, I was at a point in my life where I was thinking of what is going to be career and what is the U.S. about? What is the opportunities that people talk about? So I was here trying to figure that out. And in the process, I kind of even started my career in the medical field. Then I did. Went to Campbell University in North Carolina. Started as a biochemistry major and then eventually changed as an economics. And so I graduated with a bachelor's in economics. And through that, I just, with a professor that I had met, who was my advisor, just getting towards graduation, we were talking and I was thinking, oh, what am I going to do with my economics degree? And so he explained to me, you can get a master's, eventually a PhD, or you can go to law school. Which prior to that, I had not really given much thought about going to law school. I had kind of fancied maybe becoming a journalist at some point, but never really thought seriously about law school.
Law school.
Yeah, so, and then he told me about the standardized test to go to law school, which is the LSAT, and that was really scary because I had never taken any standardized test in my life. We don't take standardized tests in Ghana. You go through high school, you take what is called basic examination. It's more things that you know, it's not the way that the SATs are structured. So that was really challenging, trying to study for the LSAT, prepare for the LSAT, and then I took it, I did okay, and started applying for law schools, and I got admitted to Arizona Summit in Arizona. So I just took a leap of faith and drove across town from Virginia, Alexandria, straight to Phoenix in 2010.
From Alexandria, Virginia?
Yes.
Straight to Phoenix?
I drove 3 days across the country in my cute Mercedes-Benz I had at that time with my cousin, and straight to Arizona in 2010. And 3 years later, I finished with a law degree, passed the Arizona bar. But it's been really wonderful, incredible journey for me.
Wonderful. Yeah. I mean, it kind of like gives me, chills here because you were telling a story about just having faith, and determination. And we're showing this picture of you. Is that with your family when you graduate?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So that was graduation day with family members and friends who have always been there, supported me, just whether it's financially or just having a conversation, anything. So just having that group of people around me has also been a blessing in a way, because sometimes you begin to doubt whether was this a good decision, or was I just being a little too foolish with just making those quick decisions without really thinking through the long term. So having people who believe in you and see where you are going, like those people around me just saying, you know, you started this, you're doing it, you can do it, keep going. It's very necessary, and I'm always grateful for all the motivators who have been in my life.
So you tell us, so now you come back to Virginia and then you do another phenomenal thing. You have your own law firm. So tell us about that.
So in the course of law school, I was thinking about, you know, what kind of lawyer am I going to be when I do finish law school? What area of law am I going to go into? And growing up in Ghana and just seeing a lot of the challenges in terms of economic development, socioeconomic development. So I was fascinated about that, and just coming to the US and then through my law school education, just learning about the role of law and having rules in society and actually enforcing and understanding what the rules are and the role that has played in the American society in terms of moving the society forward. That was really interesting to me. So I came across a course of law and economics, which is a hybrid of something I knew before and something I was learning. So it was interesting to me. And I had an opportunity to spend some time in South Korea, the UN Trade Commission, to just really see legislation. And Asia is a market, it's a continent that is continually growing. They have similarities in stories with some of the African countries. So just being in South Korea and working in South Korea at the UN and just seeing some of the development and even some of the rules and the laws that they were adapting to make it easier for businesses to start, to make it easier for companies to survive, have access to finance. Those things were really interesting to me. So that really shifted my focus to do something in international trade, but focus more on trade law reform and in developing countries.
Wonderful.
And so when I finished taking the bar, I had the opportunity to be at an institute at University of Arizona National Law Center. They recently renamed it as the Kozolczyk Law Center, named after a man who had done wonderful work with the U.S. During NAFTA renegotiation and other things like that. And just having been in that space and just looking at some of the work that they were doing all across Latin America in commercial law reform. So I was able to take some of that, and I was looking at where is the opportunity, where is the avenue, because, you know, coming right out from law school, everybody's asking you, you don't have the experience and other things like that. So really, that's where the American Bar Association became key as a member and joined the African Committee. So I will propose a program. We had an arbitration training in Ghana in 2015, and that was the first time actually going back to Ghana since I left in 2003. So it was really...
So you go back to Ghana as an attorney?
I go back as an attorney, and not only as an attorney, but the opportunity to engage other lawyers who are there and actually bring knowledge and share that knowledge with them. So it was really an incredible journey going back to Ghana. And since that time, we recently just had also an arbitration and just a conference in Cape Town, South Africa, just talking about changing the perception of risk in doing business in Africa. Because most of the time when anybody hears Africa, you're thinking about the war, the crimes, and all of that. But the challenges are not so different from the rest of the places where we don't. But I think that we don't get our message across in a way that encourages people, and there are so many incredible things. So this conference, which I was not able to go, but it focused around just seeing the opportunities as well as understanding the challenges and how you can navigate that. And that was in Cape Town.
Wow.
And I am the programs advisor for the African Bar Association, which had existed in the 70s. It kind of went down a little bit, and then in 2016, it was resurrected. So we had our first event in Zimbabwe, in Harare, where we talked about the role of law in shaping African society. Since then, we've met in Port Harcourt to talk about African Business Roundtable. We are meeting in July for Nairobi to continue that journey. And then with the School of Oriental and African Studies in London, we've had several training of arbitration throughout all Africa that I have been able to participate, whether as a speaker, whether as a moderator. So it's been an incredible journey in that sense, to be able to take back the things that I have learned as a lawyer here in the United States, to go back to different African countries and interact with other lawyers, other officials, and just share that knowledge and build a community in that sense.
Now, your law firm is also in Alexandria, Virginia.
Exactly.
And what struck me was that you're available 24/7. That was like amazing.
Yes. So basically, after just a couple of work with different organizations, I decided to start my own law firm.
Yeah.
I decided to start my own law firm mainly because of the different interests that I have, and then just to have the freedom and then the ability to choose that, okay, I want to focus on this, I like this case, there's this issue that I can contribute to. So I didn't want to have that restriction of saying that, you know, because every organization is different.
Yes.
And so I decided to if I have my own law firm, it gives me that platform to be able to do the things that I want to achieve as an attorney. So our law firm, we opened in Alexandria, October last year, 2017.
Congratulations, that's major.
Yes, and we have immigration services, not only for people who can pay, but we partner with United Community Ministry.
UCL.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hispano Progreso, where on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, I am there. We are answering questions for immigrants.
Beautiful.
For naturalizations, for DACA, for TPS. So any kind of immigration question that you have, you can call, you get an appointment, we'll sit down with you, we'll talk with you. If it's just the basic form, we'll help you fill it out. If it's something that is complicated and we can't, then we ask you go to the other bigger charities like Catholic Charities and Ayuda, and so we refer people out there. But really just having that opportunity to help a group of community, and it's a huge immigrant community in the South Fairfax County area, to help them, to give them that direction that, you know, this is the way to go. You, even though you have this challenge, there are opportunities to resolve it. And usually when people hear of lawyers, they think big money, I can't afford a lawyer. So being able to be that kind of lawyer where you can come, whether you are wealthy or not, and get your questions answered.
Really? So it sounds like there's not a fee to come and have your questions answered?
No, so this is administered by UCM Progresso Center.
Wonderful.
So I believe that they charge a $30 consultation for copies and other things like that, but it's not mandatory. So when you call and they will tell you, well, there's a $30 consultation, and then some people say, I don't have the money. They will still have you come in. So you come in, you sit down, you talk, and then you go. So it's a really incredible
service
that they're providing, and I'm really excited to be part of it. So I've been volunteering for them for about 3 years now, and each day when we see the multiple people who have become citizens, multiple people who were not sure what their immigration status is, or they didn't think they had any pathway to legalize their immigration status in the United States, just finding that, oh, there is something I can do, or even understanding that there is nothing, so you have to make the decision whether it will be better for you to go home or continue living here. Just having that information and being able to provide that to people, it's really incredible.
Particularly from a legal standpoint, that's very important. And because I can imagine, particularly now, there is a lot of great fear.
Yes.
And you know, my heart aches for that.
Yes,
really
we've had multiple questions. Initially we saw actually a reduction in the number of people who came to us because people were afraid. They didn't want to go to places like that because they were afraid, will immigration be there?
Oh,
and
my goodness.
I remember when the deferred action was canceled, quote unquote, and they said they weren't accepting any applications, and people whose were pending will come and say, but I already gave my information. Do you think something is going to happen? They're going to come to my home. So we had to really calm a bit of fear in the beginning to get people to understand that no matter what is going on, and the beauty of being in America is that there is laws, there are processes, and everybody will have to live within the confines of the laws. So even if things are happening, it's not a chaotic, just random situation, even though at first it appears to be so.
Yes, yes.
But as you saw with even the travel ban or the restrictions on travel, you had attorneys going to airports, you had people and all this court filings to kind of address the situation. So the rule of law really does exist in our society in America, and I think that's a beautiful thing, which no matter what we are experiencing should give us a bit of comfort and not so much of panic.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you started this law firm, and what got you excited about being able to do this? Because I hear lots of passion, and I also get emails from you about some of your other charities too. Tell us a little, because you're a busy lady.
I am, and I say busy because, I mean, what a wonderful opportunity to just go from where I started in Ghana to have the platform that I have.
Yes.
And I think of it, what a disservice would it be if I don't use it to the best that I can. So apart from the legal work that I do, I'm also on a board of United Community Ministry, which I was just voted on the board this December.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, to join the board. And I mean, fortunate. UCM in Northern Virginia is very big with the food pantry, with literacy, clothes, child care. It's a huge organization, and it's going through different changes, and just to be part of the board and to be part of providing input into the different programs and the services that they are providing. From my own standpoint, as someone coming from a country where it's very difficult to access some of these resources, and then also to a point that I'm looking at, this is an amazing organization, and there are 7 communities from all kind of backgrounds, and people, sometimes we all have well-intentioned, but even that can get distorted in a way. So to be able to provide different perspective and saying that, well, at least if I have not personally have to assess this benefit, but I know what pushes people to want to need this. And so it's not from a judgmental standpoint, but understanding the humanity of it to provide the service. So that's an incredible thing, and I enjoy so far being on the board.
Wow.
And I look forward to continuing providing inputs into the board.
They are a well-known organization, and they're incredible. So where do you see your law firm going in the future? You have so much ahead of you, doing so many wonderful things.
So really our focus for this, for having the law firm, is that we will be able to work with people who are afraid of the legal system, afraid of lawyers because of the cost or the negative perception that people have of lawyers. So I really want us to be that law firm that you can walk into and not be intimidated by the lawyers who are there. And then I also want to bring together a group of lawyers who are passionate, not just about making the financial, which is important, we all have to live, and so we have to pay those bills and other things like that, but also really want to use their law degree beyond just making a living. And one of the things that I found when I finished law school and just really on the job market looking, I didn't find that there was a lot of reception for minority attorneys into law firms. So I found that it was really challenging, and I know that the legal market in general is very difficult, very competitive. So one of the things is to have this law firm to be able to open my doors to other minorities, and then to really just, whether it's for internship, whether it's for just career advice, just to be a resource to people. So besides the services that we provide, I want the lawyers that are in the firm to be able to be open and to also, give back with what they have received to the community out there.
And see, that's what I get from you immediately, because you're kind of, let's say, the mentor, but you're the mentor who actually has done that walk. You have, started from leaving your country, which is pretty, pretty amazing. Is that to say, like I thought it was going, big, going from New York to Virginia. That's nothing. You went to another country. And that's major, but having the courage, the determination to say, I'm going to do this. That's something that comes from a person. What would you say that for those people, men and women or young people who are looking at like, I want to be like you. What would you tell them? What has been the real driving force for you?
For me personally, I'm a middle child, so I grew up just basically just doing my own thing because I have an older brother, so he's a boy, precious, and then I have a younger sister so I'm stuck in between these two people. So I've always kind of done my own thing, but really just understanding that people saying no to you, it's not necessarily a rejection. It shouldn't be a cause for you to break down. And the world is cruel, and we can all be cruel in the way that we interact with people. But what has been really a focus point for me is not taking what people say and internalizing it as an attack on me.
Right.
But looking at it that is how they see it, because I don't always see things right. I have misjudged people. I have spoken things about people. So I take it from my own point of view that I don't always do the best. And because of that, I cannot expect that other people will always do the best. It's coming from their experiences, their background. It's not an excuse for being, quote unquote, a nasty person. But once I just made that resolution that, what people say or the way people act, it's not an attack on my person or my goals, it's their perspective. Yes. And I take that, and if it's a no,
it's okay.
We can revisit it later, or we can move on from it, depending, but it doesn't stop, or it doesn't take away from what I have in my heart, because
Yes.
what moves you. If you have a vision, you see that vision. You can try to explain it to me and I can try to understand it, but it's not in the same way that you see it, you feel it. And so you cannot allow me to just take that away from you because of something I said or the way I looked at it. No.
Wow. Well, I think it's like powerful because what you're saying and what you have to me is an international perspective, something that we all should try to have when we're interacting with one another. Well, Joyce Williams, you've been absolutely amazing. Where did the time go? You need to be here longer because it was fascinating and hopefully very inspiring for me because you stepped out in faith. And you know, kudos to all the people that brought you here today to be a guest here on Ingrid's World.
Oh, thank you.
You're amazing. Continued success.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Joyce Williams for being an exceptional guest. And our quote this time is from Michelle Obama. Success isn't about how much money you make. It's about the difference you make in people's lives. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget to friend us on Facebook and follow Ingrid's World VA on Twitter and Instagram. And if you miss an episode, you know the story. Look at us up on YouTube. So stay in touch and ask yourself this question: how am I making a difference in people's lives? I would like to thank Armooh-Williams Law Firm for underwriting this episode of Ingrid's World. Armooh-Williams brings to you superior quality legal solutions that encompass all aspects, all spheres of business and corporate law, immigration law, international trade law, and employment law. Their legal solutions are deployed in lieu of your services, ensuring timely and cost-effective deliverance like none other. Their website is armooh-williams.com.